welcome back to Calmsden. So, we're off to the dealership again. So, before we get into it, please do hit that subscribe button. It really does help this little community to grow. So, in this episode, we've got two things to do. So, number one, we've got to help get the cows settled in. So, we got to get the feed and straw sorted out. And secondly, got to sort out this slightly convoluted situation with the manure pit as well. So more about that a little bit later. Okay, so you'll see our two fields just there away to the left and right. They desperately need ploughing at this point, but I'm procrastinating. I think it's going to be a big undertaking. We'll get the cows settled in first. We'll try to get some milk production moving and maybe even some slurry and manure moving as well. So both of which should help with fertilizing once we've got the ploughing done. So I've actually come to realize that the first task in nearly every episode is a trip to the dealership to spend money. So I think by the end of this episode we could be nearing bankruptcy because we do have a couple of things to purchase. So in the first instance we need a straw chopper. So let's just get pulled up here. So that's what we're after now. So where are the animal equipment? Here we go. No, they're all feeders, water tanks, and there we are. So here's a slightly smaller one. There are two for sale. Similarly priced. This is the traditional one. This has been around since the dawn of time, certainly in FS19 anyway. I used it a bunch of times. So, you know what? If these have the same capacity, looks like they do. They both take 2 bales. They're the same price. This one is slightly smaller. I think I'll go with this one. On the basis that it just seems a little bit smaller. I think it might be easier to maneuver down at the yard. To be fair, it is a little bit tight down there, so it should be useful. Also, quick word on the triggers. The straw triggers are kind of in an awkward position. I think there is a map update coming to resolve those, but for the moment they're a little bit awkward, so a smaller machine might work out better. Okay, we're back. Where should we park up? Let's just leave it here. We'll be okay. Okay, so basic controls are pretty straightforward. Let's get the back door down. And we're away. Even I can figure that much out. Okay, let's grab the telly and we'll get the first bale into it. I'm sure the cows will be looking forward to it. Sitting in there quite neglected so far. So we've got what looks like a decent stack of both hay and straw. I just don't have a clue if it's going to be enough. Not a clue, so we'll just have to see. We'll have to progress through the winter and through the spring. See how we get on. Let's just grab this first one. It's funny, you always gotta, when you're moving away from the stack, reversing away, you just gotta resist the urge to steer away too soon. So if you move, you can swipe out the whole lot of the bales in one easy movement. You've gotta be disciplined. Okay, I probably didn't pull up in the best location actually, after all. Let's drop the bale here and we'll come at it from the other side. We'll come at it sort of square from the far side. Okay, this works for us. Perfect. So we should be able to get it in nice and easy from this side. Now, as far as feed goes, I think we'll be okay. I mean, we have plenty hay there. Now, on FS19, it was always the case that when you're playing on seasons, you could, if you harvested grass early, and you could be in a position if you fertilize it, that you could be harvesting grass in the springtime, in maybe March, April time. If you harvest it early and fertilize it immediately, you'll probably get a second cut out of it by the end of the year as well, by October or whatever it might be. So I need to be sure that I keep my eyes peeled for when all the grass will be ready to harvest again. I think in March or April. So let's get presented to the barn here, and I'll explain about the straw triggers. As I say, there is an update coming. It might already be out by the time this video I get this video uploaded. But you'll see here, the only trigger I can find, well, I can find two triggers. One is at the opposite end of the barn, which makes no sense at all inside. And the second one is here. As you can see, we're scattering into the open side of the barn, but the animation is actually creating the straw on the opposite side. So I jumped ahead there. I've got 4 bales in. I was complaining about the animation, but I think there's an update coming, and that'll all be resolved hopefully. So we'll just drop the straw chopper back into the shed, and we'll get some feed into them. So you'll remember we cut in the last episode. Let's just close the gate. I'm a demon for leaving the gates open. There we go. So in the last episode we cut that field just down there, pretty much in front of where we were just looking, and all the bales that came from it, we just dropped them inside the barn here, just for the sake of convenience. So I'm going to grab all of those now and drop them on top of the trigger. Again, not sure exactly how many I'm going to need. Be good just to get them started anyway. So the cows always start on, they seem to start on obviously 0% health or productivity. And once you get the feed in, it just takes a little bit of time to kick in. Maybe, I don't know, maybe one game day by the time they're up to 100%. So we'll grab each one of these and we'll check as I go, but let's see if this is enough. If it's not enough, we'll run outside and grab some more from the big haystack. Okay, so it wasn't enough. Gonna have to grab a few from the stack, which is fine because we have a decent stack out here. Now, I think it's kind of tricky reversing out of that barn. I think before long I'll be an old hand at it. So let's just drop 2 more in here. I think there's more than enough feed. Let's get things started. Okay, let's drop them here and we'll have a quick check. Just look at the info panel, see how they're getting on. Yep, perfect. Okay, they've plenty of hay to keep them going for the moment and loads of straw. Now, interestingly, I haven't found a water trigger. There is a water trough out in the pasture, but no trigger, which is weird. I've tested separately as well on a different game save, and it doesn't seem to affect productivity. You can see all the straw has appeared in here, and of course we've got feed in this channel here as well, in the trough. But yeah, as I say, the lack of water doesn't seem to damage productivity. I was able to get the cows to 100% without water. Now, that's our silo, so our silage pit. Here is our slurry pit. So, big question. A lot of people asking, where is the manure pit? And I know I mistook the slurry pit for a manure pit at the start. Well, the answer is there isn't one. You actually have to buy one. Which menu is in it? Okay, I think it's in the construction menu. So you do have to purchase one. So once we go into animals, is it animals? Buildings. Oh yeah, sorry, apologies. Buildings and silo extensions. And here it is. So you actually have to purchase and place a manure pit. It's very unusual. Never seen this done before. Now, once we get it placed, of course we're going to have to pay for it. It is a little bit complicated, or not complicated. What you got to do is, I think it's place it within, I don't know, something like 150 meters of the cow barn, and at least it'll register that it is associated with that cow barn, and it will start to spawn the manure in it. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to have a quick look around and try to figure out where is suitable to place it. It's nice to have it flush there, but I'm worried that the animation plane will actually overlap and we'll wind up having cows walking through walls and stuff like that. So I think over here might be the neatest. Let me see. So I'm hoping this will be quite out of the way. So maybe, I was thinking maybe we could position it over at the other side of the barn by that wall. No, I think it would be too unsightly beside the lane. So I think, and there is a water trough there. I'm worried that a trigger will appear on that after the map update. Okay, we're placed. Now you'll see also that it's just left a sort of a weird pad underneath it of short grass. I can't bring myself to leave it like that. It's worth taking the time to do a little bit of landscaping. So what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to add an animal mud base to it, because at the end of the day it is going to be full of muck, so it just makes sense that it would look like that. I generally don't like them when they look like they're concrete based. So we'll crack on with that. We might also add a track out there from the front as well that sort of aims back toward the main entrance. I always find it's worth putting in just the extra couple of minutes into landscaping this stuff, just to make sure that it actually fits in. I just couldn't walk away and leave it the way it fell in, or the way it was created naturally or automatically. So I think that looks a little bit better. Now we're going to have to sort out the grass over here as well, because that's too short. Of course, every click here, by the way, is costing us money, which isn't great. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in a little bit of a track. I think this will add a little bit of realism to this. Now the obvious direction would be over towards that gate, so let's aim that direction. And we'll have it a little less consistent the further out it goes. So I think that looks good. I think that's going to work. Yeah, that's good. Hopefully I've scaled it properly. So it should line up with either wheel of a tractor or something like that. Hopefully it's not twice the width or half or something like that. So let's get some grass in here as well. As I say, it's worth doing this. It's just worth making it for the sake of realism. It's just worth getting things to align. Okay. And we're done. We are done. That's perfect. Okay, really happy with that. A little bit convoluted situation, but it's worth doing it and worth getting it out of the way and worth landscaping it in properly. So I think that looks good. Texturing is really good there, actually. I like that. Of course, now that we've got straw in the barn as well, we will be producing manure. So that's perfect. That's a job well done, I think. So I think we'll leave it there for this episode. What we'll do is we'll catch up again in the next one, which will be, I think we'll be back in the field. We've got a heck of a lot of ploughing to do and subsoiling and a bunch of other jobs as well. So thanks for watching. Keep an eye out for that.